Welcome back to Decadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as a Sverfneblin with a rubber hammer.
At your service.
Sabrina as a forest gnome with a flute and a fishing pole.
Oh, hello.
Jordan as a human with a leather mask and chaps.
Oh, I love you guys.
We are chaps canon now?
I guess so. It's happening.
Guy as an elf, also with a leather mask and chaps, but for a different reason.
How did I miss out on this uniform?
They're tucked up in my bag somewhere. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
And me, Paul, just a guy with a leather mask and chaps. Thanks for hanging out with us as we jump back into our adventure in Via Severia. Now that the holiday season is done, yay! We're going to go back to our old release schedule of every week. Yay!
Yay!
That also means more of your neighbor's potatoes. Yay! For our patrons on Patreon. Double yay!
Yay!
And if you're one of those And if you're one of those folks who have left a review over at Apple Music /podcast/thing, then yay! And if you haven't yet, then boo. But you can turn that into a yay by doing it right now. Yay!
Yay!
We either have or will soon have some new merch in our 12-sided guys shop. Yay! So check that out as well.
Wait, I released it. In the meantime, I released it.
It's out there. Yay!
Yay!
Incredible. 10 out of 10.
Paul told me nobody was going to want to buy a t-shirt that says you have pink eye. Let's prove him wrong, everybody.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Nobody's going to want that shirt. No way. Well, we're so glad to be doing this podcast and having this adventure, and we're totally stoked to have you all along with us. Yay! Anyway, if you ever got cheered on by the United States military...
Yay!
Yay! Nobody
Yay!
reacted. Nobody did.
Well, I wasn't prepared for that one.
Well, anyway, if you ever got cheered on by the United States military for punching out a Russian wrestler, then this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 66.
It's crazy you mentioned that. That happened to me last week when I was fighting Russian wrestlers.
On an Air Force base.
In the streets, actually.
Was the Russian wrestler all scarred up but wearing a unitard?
Also, with the hairiest shins of all time.
Yes, I thought, yes, he had the hair on his shins. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to Chorus of the Forsaken, to Via Severia in the city of Kladvina. Last time we were together, besides our bonus episode with the Battletoads, we had a big run-in with Bubbles the Necromancer, or at least we finished the fight that had started in the episode before. It was a very hairy fight, lots of damage being dealt on both sides, but...
Almost as hairy as those shins.
Almost as hairy as Zangief's shins, yes. But Bubbles was brought low, finally. There in the warehouse, after he was killed, we were able to see once again the sort of blue spectral figure pull out of his body, and it was the woman who Guy had been talking with before, the specter who had been following him around for much of the adventure. This time, things were a little bit different, and thanks to a spell by Kaladin from the B-side, we were actually able to hear her thoughts, or at least the semblance of thoughts that she was able to focus on. And we discovered that the Covington, Cohen, Hartwood line, that this book that belonged to them, that this book was a danger should they get it. She was able to one more time snuggle with her snuggle dog, Pranciful, before she disappeared. The last thing that happened was the B-side and Wilhelm and Associates decided kind of what was their next step. The B-side decided that They were going to go after Nalira Silvercrest, who was here in town and who potentially had taken the place of one of the Baron here in town, one of the Baroness. And where am I going with this?
Stomp her ass.
But they're not going to stomp her the way Guy stomped her. Just for clarity.
No. So the
That's
B-side
true.
took off
Calvin
to
is
try
her
to-
son.
Yes. The B-side then took off to try to complete this mission, and Wilhelm and Associates had some things that they wanted to finish up here in the city, as well as Danon. They were able to go back to the docks amidst the other dead and dying bodies, the numerous undead that had fallen to the ground, now lifeless again. They were able to find Danon's body, and really quick, we didn't really go into this last time. What all did you do with Danon's body? I'm trying to figure out what you did before you guys ended up going to the Grand Towers Hotel to go to sleep that night.
Well, I think what Guy would do, because he's the one who gave her the crown. He gave her Saskia's crown from way back in the roadside ruins. So I think Guy would take a lock of her hair, just cut a lock of her hair and the crown, and kind of wind the hair around the crown with whatever vines are still on it, and kind of take that as a memento of her.
Okay. And are you just going to leave her body there to be taken care of with the rest of the bodies here in the city?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. So Guy's not going to really touch that part.
I'll pick her up. Don't worry.
Yeah, Sylvie will go grab her as well, and help.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do with her, I guess? That's the question. You see around you, night is falling. The sun is going down. You hear crying and lamenting and the moans of people wounded. You hear people saying, over here, we've got some survivors over here. And you hear the people calling out for help and for healing. And, oh, Jimmy, where are you? And you hear all kinds of I don't know why I said Jimmy, because all I could think of was, Jimmy, we love you. That's all we have to offer.
Jimmy, oh, Jimmy, don't listen to them. Okay.
Sorry. If you're not a Mormon, then you probably wouldn't get that. Anyway, but
So
you hear
cheesy.
all these. You hear all of this, the aftermath of this terrible, terrible thing that happened here in the city. Here you are standing here with Danon's dead body, now missing a little bit of hair and the crown.
Should we take her to the glass house of Shantea?
Either that, or was there a druid coven in town?
Looking around, there were a few, what looked like druid bodies on the ground before we even got here, right?
You do see that there's some other folks who are wearing, leather and feathers and that kind of thing. They've got staves and cudgels. You see some shields lying here in pools of their own blood, lying here around Danon. It looks like, yes, there was a druid circle here. You don't know if there still is one, but you do remember Danon saying that the druid circle was a few hours outside of the city. So it's not actually here in the city. It's out more actually in the bog.
I think you might be right. The glass house of Shantea would probably align pretty well with her connection to nature. I don't know how they feel about animals, but I don't know that there's going to be much of a circle to return to.
At least a place to let them rest until we can search out the circle and, have them just make a decision.
I mean, if I'm remembering right, they got eviscerated, right? They were
her
it
throat
was
ripped
pretty
out.
gruesome.
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
I mean, let's be kind of morbid. Her head is hanging on by a few strands of neck is all that's left.
Yeah, I think you said that a revivify or a normal resurrection spell wouldn't work. It'd have to be one of those that either fixes missing body parts or would have to be a reincarnation even.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as this is again being morbid, but as long as there's enough remains that they could be moved with some sort of facility. Otherwise, I'm if it's literally bits and pieces strewn about the area, then I would say that we should maybe consider turning this into a small grove of sorts itself in this town square where they fell.
Start the memorial here.
That's a peaceful thought, at least for a memorial. I like that.
Yeah, you guys are here on one of these islands here, right in Dockside. There's cobbles and things. You do see there's a couple little garden plots, like the garden plots, but like flower bed type things that are scattered around, in front of some of the buildings. So there is that possibility. Where she fell is actually like right in the middle of a market square, and so there's not very much like bare earth or anything right here.
Well, I say we pick them up and take them to the glass house for now. And
I believe that makes sense to me, and I believe let us take them to the glass house for now. But while we have perhaps a bit of time before we move on, I may commission something to be constructed in their honor here in the marketplace.
All right, well then we will fast forward a little bit. You take Danon's body to the glass house of Shantea. You are able to speak with the harvest mistress. You see that they have been helping people there in the glass house. You see that there are places where the windows have been broken. You can see that there was some fighting actually inside of the temple, but for the most part, it was able to stand on its own. And you were able to put Danon's body's care or her body into their care, and they are able to take her away and put their body somewhere out of the way where you can then decide what you want to do with it as far as a memorial of some kind. And then you guys ended up wandering back over to the Grand Towers Hotel, and that night you guys all wake up the next morning. That night, what did you guys do, though, before?
That night, I definitely had a vision through the eyes of James, right?
I guess more than anything, I was wondering, like, did you guys, like, sit around and drink? Did you guys go to bed? Did you guys have a conversation with anybody? Or was everything just so exhausting that it was just, everyone just crashed?
Ornan definitely drank.
Sylvie asked Baldric if he wanted to come snooze in her bed too. Not in a sensual way, but just like Sylvie didn't want to be alone.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's
Baldric's there
actually
with you,
kind of sweet.
And it's a pretty big bed, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's down to clown.
No, leaving a pillow fort between us. No.
Yes, exactly.
Margrim, Annalise's bed is open, but you don't have to leave the room.
Well, I mean, it's awfully cold this time of year, I felt like, and, given all of the action, it seems to make sense that we be on our guard, you know what I mean?
Of course, yes, I think we're of the same mind.
Good. I don't want to impose or anything, but, if we wanted to spoon, all I'm saying is if we want to spoon, I'm okay with this. That's all I'm...
Only if I'm the big one.
You're always the big one to me, Ornan.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. All
And
right.
Guy will just be in his bed, and for the first time ever, he'll invite Branceville to be up on the bed with him.
Oh,
The first time ever, you monster.
Dude, Guy sleeps alone. I've been very clear on this.
Yes. And he sleeps in the nude. Has also been clear about that too.
Branceville's above the covers.
All right, then dawn comes. You guys have all had an incredibly busy day.
Hi,
the day
Dawn.
before.
How are you doing? Haven't seen you for a while.
Was the door open?
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad. Jeez. I think I broke Paul.
No, you know what? I think I'm a little bit broken today anyway. All right, yeah, you guys, you all wake up. You were all so exhausted the night before from nearly dying multiple times from just the rush of battle. You guys have fought before. You guys have had battles before, but yesterday seemed more like a war. Has anyone besides, I guess, Ornan, you've been in a war. Has anybody else been in like a war before?
No, not even close.
Yeah, Margrim has many times.
Okay. I'm guessing Sylvie, probably not.
No, Sylvie hasn't even played war.
Yesterday was city fighting. Yesterday was battle after battle after battle. Just no rest. And it took a toll on your bodies. So when you got back, even though there were probably things you wanted to discuss and reconnection that you wanted to make, your bodies just wouldn't allow you. And so as you wake up now in this morning, the day after the end of the necropurge, in the Glass Tower, or in the Grand Towers Hotel, what would you guys like to do?
Order room service and talk to Mogram.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Mogram will talk.
Are we like interrogating Mogram? Should we tie him down? Like,
I didn't do it. I promise.
Well, he just came back to life, and we didn't talk to him very long yet.
Mogram, it's so good to see you up and about. I knew you were going to be okay. I guess I didn't expect the new you.
We love it though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you that you're happy to have me back, of course. Honestly, it feels surreal. It feels as though so much time has passed, even though I know that it has only been, a day or two?
Where were you?
Well, when I began to drift into the void, I awoke, as it were, kind of outside of the City of Judgment. And, I was escorted through the city because of one of the faithful of Kelemvor. But it seemed as though by the time I got there, someone had interposed on my behalf, and I was requested by someone else, and I was taken to other parts of the planar existence. To be honest, it felt like a lifetime of moving from one plane to the next. When I awoke, I thought that perhaps I was too late to be able to help you all. It was, and is still, a bit shocking to know that only so little time had actually passed.
Yeah, we were still fighting the same guy that killed you.
It's crazy.
Yes. Well, I am very grateful to be able to be back here. I wish that I had more answers that I could provide as to why all of this is happening. There is even confusion, it feels like, even on the other side of the planar existence. Even in the land of the dead, there was some sort of a tension that one could feel. And I had personal business as well on the other side, and I know that delayed me slightly. There was someone I was hoping to see before I returned, but I could not locate her.
Who was she?
He said it was personal business, Sylvie.
Yeah, Sylvie's gonna ask. Sylvie,
Who was she?
Baldric's sitting there like eating popcorn.
He clearly wants to talk about it. Read between the lines, Guy.
Markham's kind of smiling to it, and he'll elaborate a little bit. So he, kind of looking at the floor, kind of eyes looking a bit distant, he starts to recall some of his past a little bit and tell you a little bit of some of his history. Many years ago now, perhaps 15 years ago, it was actually the situation that led to me leaving the Krahanist organization and essentially going into exile. But while I was in Bergevin to the south, I was researching several different uses for white phosphorus, as well as further refining the plague mask that I had modified, which had the ability to detect putrescine and cadaverine, which were emitted by the undead. And in that process, I was assigned someone to work in a laboratory with, and her name was Regina.
Oh, so this was a lab partner. That's hot.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm being too personal. Jesus, Guy.
And Bergevin, indeed. It was very hot down there, very sweaty and warm all the time.
You Bunsen her burner.
Oh, wow.
Goodness gracious. If anything, she burned my Bunsen, I think, is perhaps the best way. But
Oh my goodness.
the truth was, we
something Erlenmeyer flask.
Oh, that's so nerdy. We never had an openly romantic relationship, but she was brilliant and genuine and kind. She was the one initially that actually researched and came up with the white phosphorus, and her idea was to use it in wound cauterization as well as a light source. But it was some of the other officials who saw its potential as a weapon. There was more that happened, and I don't necessarily wish to tell that tale at this time, but she was taken, if you will, and subjected to certain things which were wholly abhorrent and hypocritical to what I thought the Inquisition stood for. So I ran. I ran away, and I caused quite a stir in the process of doing so, and I believe I may have even taken 1 or 2 lives in the process. But I was hoping to find her on the other side, and spent some time going from one plane to the next, but I could not locate her, which leads me to believe that perhaps one of my greater fears is to be realized.
And what's that?
Is that she's alive?
Well, no. She is not alive, per se. The experimentation that they subjected her to, it was quite horrific. The Navorians, who at the time were a very secluded and secretive group within the Krahanestan Inquisition hierarchy and structure, they came and were performing certain experiments on prisoners. I, at one point, was asked to come after Regina had disappeared, to come and participate in what would be some sort of live, essentially a vivisection of some prisoner. I was to administer chemicals and things to remove the pain from this individual while they conducted their experiment. And I did this. There were many other Krahanesti researchers and night owls that were present during this event. During the event, the purpose of it, I believe, was that the Navorians were trying to determine whether the magic, the arcane powers, were attached to any organs specifically within the body, if it was biologically inclined or derived through the biology of an individual. And so they used the toning rods you've seen me use, but more delicate and fine-tuned, to test the reactions of the various organs when under strain, which required that the patient be alive during the events.
That's horrifying.
Okay, so just so I understand, you've been using a lot of big words like vivisection. So you were doing
torture,
surgical experiments on prisoners.
Yes. This was not something that I specifically was engaged in. I was mostly researching different sorts of medicinal uses, antiseptics and analgesics for removing pain, but that is why they elected that I participate in this particular surgery. Well, after they failed to receive the results or to find any sort of arcane association with any of the bodily organs themselves, the Grand Inquisitor at the time was frustrated, but he moved on to what he called the second part or the second phase of the experiment itself. And they brought forth a cadaver of an individual. And they also produced some sort of a device, some sort of arcane artifact. It had kind of a metal kind of chassis, if you will, like a structure of metal, but there was a crystalline kind of structure within it. That was when I noticed they performed some sort of arcane spells, which to me spoke so much of necromancy that it was deeply disturbing. And the way I understood it, I believe they removed the soul from the patient and placed it inside of this crystalline structure. Well, it was upon the culmination of that spell that they cast that the the cloth that they drape the surgical patient with fell to the side, and that's when I saw my Regina there, brutally tortured and dead on the table. But what was perhaps the most disturbing was that it seemed that whatever spell they had cast was intended to trap and isolate her soul seems to have worked. I left immediately after that, and by left I mean I immediately attacked the Grand Inquisitor and many of the people in the room and fled in the chaos. And that is why I am hunted by many of the Krahanist now to this day.
She was the prisoner? Or why would they experiment on her and not... What did she do? Like, why would they choose her as the subject of their experiment?
Because, Guy, she was a magic user. She just kept it hidden. But to the leadership, they must have found out. And they took her prisoner to perform this specific sort of experiment on. You see, they needed somebody with arcane disposition in order to test this idea of, is magic attributed to the body itself or is it attached to the soul? My supposition is that they wanted to transfer her soul into the cadaver of another individual to see if this individual would now manifest arcane abilities, thus proving that it is somehow bound to the soul of an individual.
So she might still be alive in some form.
In some form, but I cannot imagine what her soul must be experiencing.
That's horrible. Also, I've always kind of felt like my magic was mostly in my balls.
Oh.
That checks out.
If
The mojo, yes.
They could have just asked me. I would have let them know. They wouldn't have had to like test my soul or anything. I didn't. Guy didn't really say that.
So anyway, that is ultimately what led us to today. I've been on the run for a decade and a half from the Krahanest, trying to lay low and hoping that they just assumed me dead after the events that happened down in Berghaven. It looks like the events over the last few months have essentially revealed the fact that I am not dead. I don't know how much of a focus I am to these individuals. I did take Regina's research notes with me when I left Berghaven, and many of the secrets, if you will, related to the white phosphorus, as well as some of my medical research I took with me. That is probably not the most valuable things that the Krahanist were working on. Nevertheless, I like to hope that it put them or set them back at least a little bit.
What monsters? I can't believe they would just torture someone just because they could use magic. That's terrifying.
It is the amount of hypocrisy. It is not, I think that it is magic so much as who is using the magic that they truly detest, because they engaged in some of the most horrific and darkest of arcane arts during that event.
And your fear is that she hasn't found her way into the great beyond, and instead she's still trapped?
Yes.
Her soul still in that crystal mechanism?
And to be honest, I feel that this has been confirmed to me through the events of this Bubbles character and his brother.
Bubbles did something similar with his own brother.
Precisely. It's possible that the Novarians that I was dealing with in the Grand Inquisitor at that time was essentially trying to weaponize the very same sort of magic that we'd witnessed through Bubbles, who is himself a significantly powerful necromancer.
Baldric kind of scratches his chin a little bit and says, well, yeah, but in the very first vision, even before Oak Road, Jingles was already trapped in that Kenku skull.
Well, is it something that Bubbles was able to do or knew? Some knowledge that was lost? Some knowledge that maybe Bubbles didn't even realize he had? And that the Inquisition was trying to experiment on a maybe more sanitized version of it?
Perhaps.
Baldric says, I wish I could see more from Bubbles' past and see there's got to be more to him than we already know if there's this connection too.
Well, we have 2 leads on people who may know more about Bubbles. One of them is an insane clown, not the one that drinks
But
Faygo.
he doesn't have a posse, so that's good.
But not the Faygo drinking one. And then the other one, I think, is our next mission.
I think Jib Jab, they want to help. Like they're not intentionally evil the way Bubbles was. I think if they can help, they will.
I don't know though. I mean, I know you feel a kinship with Jib Jab, but the fact is, they knew the influence they would have, and they came into the center of the largest city in the area and caused all kinds of havoc and damage. I don't know how much they want to help versus how much they want their own answers.
Regardless, we need to go and recover our intern. She's in danger.
Yes. So, Annalise, priority 1. Jib Jab, sure. If we can find them too.
I think at the least we can get some good answers from Jib Jab.
And Insane Clown Posse, job number 3, because we got to get that guy off the board.
Yeah, he needs to be stopped.
He's got to go.
He terrifies me. Honestly, I'm more worried about him than I was of Bubbles. Bubbles can raise the dead. I think that James can make you love being murdered. If that makes any sense.
What happened to these individuals? That was one of the things that I came to, one of the driving forces that ultimately led me out of what could have been perhaps a peaceful rest for myself in the beyond, was the realization that we are inextricably tied to these events that took place 500 years ago, at least 500.
Not me anymore. I've done my duty. Link severed, and I'll see you later.
Baldric walks over and gives you a high five. Me too. Sylvie, it's been fun.
From what we can tell, there was a decision made at that point in Oak Road. At least Bubbles made a decision. Was it Bubbles or Jib Jab that we determined had made a decision? Made a choice.
Baldric speaks up and he says, well, it was Jib Jab who yelled out that they made the wrong choice.
Right. So it sounds like bargain was made, a deal was struck, something, at least among some of those members, that has altered them.
So then who all would have taken the deal then? Baldric says. Bubbles, Jib Jab.
James? If I recall correctly, wasn't James unconscious in that vision that we saw? Or the vision that... who saw that one?
Mogram saw it.
Mogram, the vision that you saw, Mogram, wasn't James unconscious? Would he have been able to make a bargain? Or was a bargain made for him?
I don't know. Perhaps whatever was agreed to or invoked took all of the available individuals at the time.
Well, who's still missing?
Peter.
Baldric says.
Yeah. So Peter. Yes.
Annalise has been seeing through Peter's eyes.
Yeah, and she was our connection to him. And then there's...
also the guard.
Yes, the
Norton,
the brass. And the...
Baldric says,
cleric.
But we haven't heard anything about him now.
No. We also haven't heard from the cleric either, or from Loida. But to be fair, Loida was a different case, right? She was possessed.
Yes, and didn't she die?
That's why she had to go.
Question for you, Paul. Question
for
real
me?
quick.
Okay.
What What type of dragon was it that was under the lake again?
It was a bronze dragon. Norton was Norton the brass. So 2 different types of dragons.
Yeah, but they're both a copper alloy.
That's true. All you need is a metallurgist.
Yes.
Maybe we gotta get that Bunsen burner back out.
Yeah, so with the dragon we saw was mixed with zinc, and then Norton would have been mixed with tin. Is that how it goes? I can't remember which one's which.
I don't remember. Molybdenum, maybe?
There's something that I've been thinking about for a while. We keep focusing on these key people that took some sort of a bargain, but we don't know what they bargained for or what it was they bargained with. I think there might be something far worse than all of these people plotting something we don't even know about.
I agree.
I think we just have to get one of them to be able to talk to us.
Yes, I agree with this.
That or we figure out where Oak Road is.
I was just about to suggest, I think once we find some more of these people, we need to discover the location of Oak Road and do our own investigating.
We have a researcher on the job back in Redlam. We just have to check in on how our research request has gone.
Flash over to Redlam right now, and there's this little gnome, Professor Ironspark, going, "Well, I don't have your information on Oak Road. It's in Bill's house and Jim's house."
Jeez.
Just wanted to see if I can still do the voice.
You got it. You killed it, Paul. You killed it.
Thank you so much. Baldric speaks up and he says, "Okay, I'm putting things together as we're talking. So, Ornan, you bring up a very good point. If they could make a decision, if there was a bargain, then there was somebody or something that was able to give them something. There was somebody to bargain with who had the power to make a deal."
And what did that entity want? Or why make a deal like that? I think it doesn't bode well for our little world.
Whatever the entity was, we got the impression, too, that it was sad. It was crying, but they weren't Lloyda's tears. Is that right? Or were they Lloyda's tears, but she couldn't control herself? I don't know. It feels like it's been at least a month since we've had a chance to talk.
Oh, so much. I feel like we learn so much, and then there's just so much more to learn.
Right.
Sort of like playing the bass guitar.
True
That's
knowledge
Baldric as he
is
pulled out his bass guitar.
True knowledge is knowing that we know nothing.
He plays bass.
Suddenly there is a knock on the door.
I'll go get it. I'll answer it.
Enter.
You open the door and you see that Neldor Martin, this Leonin son of the Count of Martin's Rest, is standing outside. He looks tired. He looks worn down. You can see that he is not wearing armor, but the clothes he's wearing, it looks like he's got like his arm is bandaged up, and he looks and he says, Oh, I came to check on you to see how everything went yesterday to make sure that you all were safe.
No, quickly, come in. Shh, keep your voice down. Come in, quickly. And I'm going to usher him in quickly and close the door behind him. Sorry. Our neighbors across the hall, there might be some connection to...
We don't trust them.
No, we don't trust them.
Dirty elves.
Shut up. I open up my visor. Remember, I know that I pretend like I've taken a vow, but...
You wake up and the first thing you do is put your helmet back on.
Dude, Kladvina is not a safe place to be in.
Just wearing the visor.
Just underpants and a visor.
He sleeps naked, except for that visor.
That's right.
Anyway, no, I bring him in. It's like, there are elves living across, lodging across the hallway, and they may have a connection with Daria and the whole to-do in Martin's Rest. So we just...
Oh, right.
I wanted to talk to them, so I wanted to be careful they didn't see us cavorting too much. But anyway, I'm glad to see you're safe, Martin. How's your sister? Is she okay?
Yes,
fine as ever?
I just went from her.
Nothing wrong with her face, right?
Wait, huh? What?
Yeah, you heard me. Shut up.
She's fine. She's well.
She's fine.
No, she stayed in the hotel. She was luckily here and was able to lock herself in. I was out trying to see what I could do, and then suddenly everything stopped. All of the undead, all of the foul fiends that we were fighting just suddenly stopped, and it was over. But
that was the B-sides doing. They're the real heroes.
You're welcome. For them, they're the heroes.
They sound so cool.
That's what they say. The B side. I don't know who they are, but I'll drink to them.
They were fighting in the Tempestarium, and they actually left a match to. They joined a match that was going wrong when the undead arrived, and then they left the Tempestarium to hunt down the source of the vile evilness. Or so I've heard.
That's the rumor that's going around town. Well, I'm glad that you all are safe.
Guy does a little fist pump to himself. Yeah, he spread that rumor.
Is everybody? Where's Annalise?
Ooh.
She fell.
That was so good.
I'm glad you guys all know exactly what I was
That was
saying
incredible.
there.
Oh my gosh!
I've just been rewatching them with my son.
Oh gosh!
I'm glad that you were able to find safety. Be glad that you weren't with us. That's actually our next objective is to locate Annalise.
How much of what's going on with Annalise?
Quests. I put them in my journal as quests.
I've been avoiding the word quest.
Well, you're a coward.
Thing.
But I do call it a quest log, not a journal.
So, how much of what's going on with Annalise are you going to fill in Neldar about?
Everything.
Oh, everything. Okay.
She was captured by what we think might be hags.
I don't know, though. Was it a hag, really?
They could have been nice old ladies, but I think they might be hags.
I've never seen someone smile quite that big.
That's true. He says, well, if my duties didn't lie here with my sister, I feel I should help you, but
I wouldn't mind lying here with your sister. What?
Shall we switch places? I go look for Annalise and you stay here.
Don't tempt me.
No, he says, I'm sorry. Is there anything? She is a comrade at arms, and I would help any way that I can. I can't accompany you myself, but is there anything I can do to help?
Time is of the essence. I know we said that we would go and speak with Vandalay Industries with your sister. I think that given everything that's happened over the past 24 hours, that's probably going to be delayed or in some way impacted, and we really need to find Annalise before something terrible happens to her. I can't be there myself, but I'm going to give you the next best thing to help you in your investigation, and I'm going to snap my fingers, and a little top-hatted, bow-tied dog appears right in Neldor's arms.
Hello there, little guy.
Pranciful is a very intelligent boy. He's got some tricks up his sleeve, and he can be your scout. He can be your eyes. He can even be, and I'll turn to Pranciful and say, do that thing where you do that really cute one. And then Pranciful will shapeshift into a little top hat and bow tie wearing pygmy marmoset.
Marmoset.
Wow.
Yeah, look that up, guys. That's his climbing form.
That's so cute.
I know what
you
a marmoset
swear,
is because Futurama, they wear marmoset pajamas.
That's right. That's right.
You swear, Guy, that Pranciful looks up at Neldar and is all, or whatever marmosets do, and then he looks over at you, Guy, and he gives you a wink.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they definitely don't pant. They're,
Yes,
probably
Pranciful
some kind
the
of
dog
squeal.
does.
Yes. Anyway, Pranciful, I feel like you kind of know what I'm getting at. Listen to Neldor and help him and his sister out until we get back. And
He puts his little hand on your hand, and you look deep into his eyes, and he's like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't say this, but you just get the impression, yeah, dude, I know. I got this.
Okay. All right. I love my little guy.
You think you see him roll his eyes a little bit. Like, Dad. Okay, so Neldor says, okay, well, thank you. I appreciate this. Are you then coming back to Kladvina? Is that your plan? to come and get this little guy?
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
We don't do plans.
to be fair, if our next stop, everyone, is to look for James after we figure out this thing with the maybe hags, then we'd need to definitely come back through Kladvina because we'd take the river. Right? Is that right? I would come back to Kladvina and take a different river down?
Well, it depends.
I mean, maybe, but honestly, I'm not really going to promise anything. Who knows what we could find while we're up there?
Yeah, you'd probably have to take a different waterway, and you'd have to come back up towards Kladvina to get on it. Yeah, it's all like still water. It's all just bogs and marshes. So, the waterways change, but like last time, the more permanent ones are all marked with stone. So yeah, you'd have to come back up this way a little bit to start heading further east and then go back down.
Yeah, so it makes sense to stop back by here. But yeah, honestly, who knows? Neldor, we didn't even know you were going to be in this city, so everything is just all up in the air.
I understand. And my sister will not be speaking with Vandalay for at least a few days as everything settles down. But okay, well, I'm glad you're okay, and all the best with getting back Annalise. And if you do come back here with her, I would like to buy you all a drink. And then he says, safe travels and all the success. And then he leaves and takes Pranciful with him.
I'll see you later, my little boy. Oh, my beautiful little boy.
All right, here you guys are in this room. So what all you guys want to do in Kladvina before you take off? Here's just a little bit of travel housekeeping. You would know that to get down to where you were at for the Swamp Sisters last time, it is almost a complete day of traveling on the river to get there. So, if you wanted to leave in the morning, you would get there at night. Or you could sail down, in the afternoon and stop in Grimwater Grove and then continue your trip down and get there in the day. It just depends on if you want to be there at night or during the day. So you guys kind of need
daytime,
to...
please. Daytime.
You guys are going to kind of need
as quick as possible.
You're going to need to figure out your travel plans to get down there. So
I say we take the morning, doing what we need to do, and then we meet at the Lady Hawk after we've had some lunch. So we can split up and do what we need to do in town and just meet back at Dockside. Does that sound good to everyone?
That sounds like a plan.
Yes, I think that works.
Let's do it.
all right.
Goodbye, swanky-ass room. I'll miss you most.
You walk out of the room and you see Mr. Vadir there, and he's like, are you going to be staying with us any more nights?
When we're back in town, we'll definitely like the suite again, but we're going to be leaving after the events of last night.
I hope you have safe travels, and if you are ever in Kladvina again, please think of the Grand Towers Hotel. And then he moves on to go take care of some other stuff. You are here on this floor, directly across the hall from your room is the elves that somebody had mentioned wanting to speak with. What does everybody want to get done here before you go meet up at the boat? Guy, what is it you want to do?
Guy would like to go knock on the elves' door and have a little conversation with them in this time.
Honestly, Sylvie would like to go with Guy and just kind of see what these elves are doing with this Daria.
Okay. Ornan, what would you like to do?
Ornan is going to call on Lewix and say goodbye.
Ooh.
Nice.
And Magram, what is it that you would like to do before meeting up at the boat?
There's a couple things I really wanted to do. I don't know if I've got enough time to do them all.
Sure we do. It's D&D. We make it up as we go.
I was going to say what I wanted to do was go to arrange and make a donation so that way people could erect some sort of like a, small like memorial kind of grove type thing, like a little copse of trees and flowers and garden in the spot of the market where Danon and the other druids died.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of where the best place would be to kind of commission that.
As you're thinking, there are a couple things come to mind. One, the head concierge here might be able to organize some of that for you. Another option would be potentially the harvest mistress over at the Glass House of Shantea. She is a member of the Court of Clerics, like the basically Parliament or the Senate here in town. And so are one of the houses of Congress here in the city. And she would have a lot of sway. And you've met her before. I mean, she's the one who raised you from the dead. So either one of those would be probably the best place to go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go, to the one that raised me from the dead. And
okay, sounds good. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and start here right across the hall as Ornan and Mogram move off out of the Grand Towers Hotel. We have Guy and Sylvie, as well as Baldric. Baldric says, hey, I'm going to go grab some of my things to make sure that, because I was staying over at the Weathered Willows. So I'm going to go grab my things from there, and then I'll meet you over at the Lady Hawk in a few hours.
Okay. Actually, Sylvie and I need to do something.
I can't wait to see you again.
Ooh. Sylvie, you and I need to do something in our room quickly before we go, though. Sorry.
he kind of reaches out to you longingly and then dramatically turns away and then leaves.
I hope he uses wings as a cape to kind of flip behind him.
He's like, I can only do it once a day and I might need it later. And he turns around and walks away.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Sylvie, let's go back in the room really quick.
Oh, okay. Top secret.
I think I have a plan. Okay. You know that Brosetta Stone spell that you taught me?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think we should cast that on ourselves before we go talk with these elves. I know I am an elf, but I don't speak the language. Do you?
I speak Elvish.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to cast the spell on myself.
I'm a barbarian.
I'm the son of clogmakers, okay? Well-to-do clogmakers, but they didn't teach me a lot of my culture. So give me 10 minutes while I make sure that I understand Elvish before we go speak with these apparently Elvish delegation type people, okay?
Sounds good.
And then follow my lead. Just remember, you have been a body double for Daria before, okay? That is not a lie. Keep that in mind, because I think I'm going to try to play that angle up.
I've been in her mind, basically.
You couldn't tell where Daria stopped and Sylvie began.
It was crazy.
I swing my
resonated
axe.
so much.
I just love when you were drunk in that episode. He said, "And what's your name?" And you're like, you pause for a second. Daria.
That was so good. Oh, I laughed so hard.
That was such a good fun. That was so fun.
Once I've cast the spell, we'll go knock on the door.
You cast a spell. After 10 minutes, you go knock on the door. You hear a voice in a sort of accented common say, 1 minute. The door opens and you see an older elf is standing at the door. He's got short-cut hair, but it's all combed and everything's in place. It's kind of this weird mixture of styles where he has sort of not necessarily traditionally elvish style clothing, but in elvish colors, right? So he's got like these greens and browns and some gold trim. But this is the elvish butler that you saw earlier at the Feast of Sweets Feast. He says, yes, may I help you?
Hi, I'm here to see your patrons.
You hear a voice call from further in, a male elvish voice say, who is it?
You can tell your master that we are friends of Daria.
Oh, yes, please, wait for a second. And then he closes the door, and then you guys hear a little bit of conversation, a little bit of commotion going on behind the door, but you can't make out any words. And the door opens again, and this elvish butler says, please come in. Lord Alphadon and Lady Kladvina would love to speak with you.
Wait, his name is Elphadon? Like an elf dinosaur?
Alphadon.
Okay. I heard Elphadon. Alphadon. Okay. Alphadon and Lady what?
Kladvina, the Starborns.
Oh, damn, she's cute.
Alphadon and Kladwin. Okay.
You see a mirror image of the what's it called? The central
common
part?
area.
You see a mirror image of the common area for the suite that you guys were staying in. This one is just flipped. You see that there are these soft plush leather couches. There is a table in the middle of this kind of step down conversation lounge area. You see on either side of the room there are these fireplaces. There are fires in both of these fireplaces. You can see that the doors to the rooms that come off of this main area are all closed, and you see seated on one of these couches, you see these two elf figures. You see that there is a man with blonde hair. He's clean shaven, like no facial hair at all. He's very, very lean. He's got kind of a knowing look, and next to him you see what must be his Kladwin. You see Kladwin, she is wearing like this beautiful sort of emerald green dress trimmed with gold. It is more in an elvish style. She's got a big necklace on, long blonde hair. She's got this golden sort of leafy crown in her hair. Very, very elf. That's all I can say. She looks.
Do they look like surprisingly put together for how chaotically last night was, or does it look like she's wearing last night's makeup?
Why don't you make an insight or investigation check? First roll of the night, guys.
Oh wow, only an hour and 4 minutes into recording.
Not one for 9.
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm tired. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm in last night's makeup.
I think I don't know, Sylvie. You see these people. They look very, very put together. They look very regal. They look almost otherworldly regal. They sit very still. They have this grace about them that you don't see it in a lot of other people here in the city. They seem apart, if that makes sense. That's all I can say with your natural one. Alphadon speaks up and he says, so we have he's speaking in Elvish. He says, so we have a mutual friend in Daria.
I'm trying to remember, what pseudonym did I give Daria? It has been so long. I had it. I remembered it. I'm looking through my notes. Give me a second real quick.
Darling Daria.
Did I say that my name was
Ross Lacrosse?
Ross Lacrosse? Oh, I can't remember, guys. Anybody remember?
Oh no.
This is why you can't have that many pseudonyms, dude.
You know what? I'm going to say we're going to have to roll with it, and I'll have to double check, and we'll see how things go.
Oh man.
Okay. I think I made an effort to remember this, and it's been listeners, it has been months since we recorded that episode. So
it has been months. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay.
All right. So I'll say, yes, we do. I go by a number of names, but you can call me Ross Lacrosse. After the events of and this is Sally. I just wanted to make sure after...
No last name. I'm too poor. But I'm too poor to be here.
Yes.
After the events of last night, I wanted to make sure that you were all okay. Obviously, we share some mutual connections. As you can see, my companion Sally has actually stood in for Daria in the past as kind of a body double. So just wanted to make sure that everything here was all right with you and that everything was still going according to plan. Oh, don't worry. I know that the rumor's probably been going around that I'm like a big old elf killer and I've made some kind of vow, but actually, and I'm going to take off my helmet and my beautiful hair is going to cascade down, just, over my ears, and it doesn't go down my back. That's a stupid description. I'm going to flip my hair a couple times and look at them and show that I'm also a beautiful elf.
Okay. It does not. Okay. Make insight checks, both of you who are in this room.
All right. Ross Lacrosse got a dirty 20.
Sylvie got a 14.
Okay. Guy, you recognize as you are having this conversation that they have both noticed that you are an elf, that they spoke Elvish, and you are responding to them in common.
Oh, I'll say, I'm so sorry.
You do recognize that little bit. Before you can respond, Althedon speaks up and he says, well, you have come in here to our room and you have made mention of someone who we did meet. Yes, Daria, she's world famous. She is actually coming with the whole theater troupe north to Eldoralis here in the next few weeks when the run of Unlikely ends here in Kladvina. And of course, we wanted to meet her before she came to our city. However, how am I to know that you really are who you say you are? That you really are a friend of Daria?
I literally was her understudy.
Yeah, you may have heard of some goings on during their performance in Redlum. We are responsible for her continued.
You're welcome.
I want you guys to make a deception check. You can do it with advantage as you guys are both helping. You're trying to present yourselves to these two people as something other than you are. You are definitely being deceitful.
Yeah, I was her understudy.
I rolled 2 31s with my advantage on deception.
All right, 2
That's
31s.
incredible.
I'm so great.
Yeah, that is good. Yes. All right. As you make your case, Althedon and Kladwin look at each other and then look back. And then Kladwin, she speaks up and she says, well, you can let Daria know that everything is still on track. Let me see here real quick. Everything is still on track. We will be meeting with Germund today, and then we will be heading back. There is a possibility of moving the timetable up.
Oh.
Thanks to events of yesterday.
Do you think that's wise? Sylvie will ask curiously.
They look at each other and they say, oh, yes.
Damn, I was hoping for more explanation than that, but that's okay.
You can let Daria know that nothing will happen until after her run here in the city of Kladvina.
Okay. I will say this, though. In something like this, compartmentalization of information is extremely important. So I would just be careful what you say, when, and to whom. And you may have also noticed that I'm practicing the common tongue. It's just better that I don't get back into the habit of speaking Elvish here in Kladvina. It's dangerous.
Yeah, he's very fluent. It's kind of crazy how fluent he is.
Dangerous business. 31 deception, Paul.
Yeah, no, that's great. They're like, yes, you're very good at speaking common. And as you guys are finishing up your conversation, you see this young little, the door opens on the left. Oh. And you see this cute little elf girl comes out. She's like, she says in Elvish, she says, cute. Mama, I'm hungry.
Look at her little hat. She's little Zelda, Link.
Yeah, she does look like Zelda's and Link's child.
Oh my gosh,
there's also their little boy.
Oh, handsome guy.
She says, Mom, can we go down for breakfast now? And then Kladwin says, oh, yes, honey, yes. He says, if you'll excuse us, please, Mr. Lacrosse, we have some things that we need to get in order.
I'll just say, just one last question. With everything that transpired further west of here, is the timetable still good?
Althedon speaks up. He says, give me a second. He says,
oh, damn, we've been planning a terrorist attack. Let me tell you about it.
He says, while things in the West have made things less ideal, I still think there's no better time than now.
Even with an incomplete relic? That was a huge gamble.
So Kladwin speaks up. She says,
was rough.
Kladwin speaks up and she says, the relic merely ensured victory. Doesn't mean we need it.
I mean, I like insurance, but no worries, man.
And then Althedon speaks up and says, with the events of yesterday, I think, what does he say? He says, after the events of yesterday, I think there's no better time than now. You can let Daria know.
Okay. Did you by any chance bring it with you? Or is it still... Listeners, I'm trying to figure out if they have the other piece of the broken spear weapon thing that I have hung the banner of bravery from, that we got, that was apparently stolen from a cathedral in Martin's Rest. Okay. I'll just say, did you bring it with you, or is it still back home?
They look at each other and they say, no, it's waiting. We have to move on without it. There's no better time than now.
All right. Well, I will also, I'll be around. I'm moving location, so you won't see me across the hall, but I'll be around.
Okay. Well, safe travels, Mr. Lacrosse.
And to you too.
All right. And Sally. Sally, I'm poor, but not too poor to afford this place.
No last name. Come on,
Sally,
now.
no last name. Okay, Sally, no last name.
Is Sally no last name because I'm poor, but not too poor for this place?
That's good. All right. As Guy and Sylvie leave this room, we are going to cut over to, I guess, here in a different room here in the Grand Towers Hotel. Ornan, you remember the room number very, very well. It's room number 69.
I was just gonna say that.
Nice.
Yes, you go to this other wing. As you remember, the Grand Towers Hotel actually has 4 different towers. And so you go all the way down to the common area there, the ground floor, and then you head back up a different tower to Lewix's room. I guess you're going to knock on the door, right?
Yeah, I'll knock on the door.
As you knock on the door, there is a little bit of some commotion going on behind the door, and then suddenly the door flings open, and you see Lewix standing there. She is wearing full, not like her armor. She's ready for battle. You see her axes strapped to her back. She's got like a breastplate on. It looks like she is like her eyes are tired. Her hair is kind of a mess, and she looks down at you. She says, "Ha, Ornan."
Yep, I'm glad you survived. That's quite the night.
Yep.
Yes, it was. I'm glad that you survived as well.
Yeah, sorry I left so abruptly. I had to go save the city. Someone had to do it.
Save the city. Of course you did, Ornan.
Yes, me and the B-side. We went over and we took care of that Kenku fellow, and all the undeadies dropped.
She's like, I'm not following.
Are you trying to make her more wet?
She's like, I'm not following, but please keep talking, as she kind of takes you by the hand and leads you into the room.
No, that's, all right. But that's not why I'm
she
here.
shuts the door. She's like, would you like some tea or some ale or some wine or something? I've got it here somewhere. She starts looking through different cupboards and stuff.
She's looking through the cupboards at the very lowest, like bending all the way over, looking.
There's
Pretty sure it's under this couch someplace.
I'm sure I have a peach here somewhere.
Oh no, I got stuck in this washing machine.
Oh my gosh.
There's a reason I'm here, Lewix. I have to leave the city in a few hours here.
Oh, okay. So you have a few hours. Then sit down. Take a load off. Have a drink.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to have a drink. In all the excitement, I didn't ask much about where you're from and all that.
Oh, there was a lot of excitement, wasn't there?
Quick mega backstory.
I just have to pull up the map of the world now. Oh yes, I grew up in the Carmite Mountains, just south of Alaron Barony, kind of between Alaron Barony and what's the one just south of there? Killian, the Killian Highlands.
I had a thought. It just occurred to me, and the answer can be no. I'm leaving, and we're in need of new interns. If you would be interested in traveling together, I can guarantee quite a bit of excitement like we had last night, and my company on the road.
Oh, damn! You're gonna kick Margaret out of your tent?
Well, Margaret's always invited.
Oh my god! Lyrics is like, that's not what I expected. I appreciate it. I've been traveling with Gaul and the Giants of Gaul for a few years now, and I appreciate the offer, Ornan, but I've already got a group. I've already got a crew.
Well, I wish you the best then.
You're all invited into my tent.
You can. I will say that what we're doing is quite unique. So I guarantee you it would be the adventure of a lifetime.
She looks at you, Ornan, and she's like, there is just something about you.
I have a candor. I just can't lie. That's how I wrote the character.
She says, Ornan, I do hope that we run into each other again down the road.
I hope so too, Lewix. Now, I will say this is not an exclusive thing since you're not coming with me.
Wait, what?
I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I don't know what's happening. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, I must say.
Well, she's like, well, then here, let me show you. And then she locks the door and we fade to black. Gosh. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Jumping over now to, are you okay with that, Scott?
Oh, totally fine with that.
I like how in Gee's playthrough of snogging everybody, Ornan's actually coming in and snogging everybody.
Ornan's doing better than Gee.
In Kladvina.
No, this is the only confirmed one. Okay, he did not sleep with anybody else
Except for Gemma.
That's true.
That's before. I know.
It's nice to know they're not a coven anymore.
Is that because there's only two of them?
Yeah, not a coven, but one of them. Well, there's only one of them left now because we killed two of them. But there is one left with the powers of some kind of immortal, like savage aura having elven hunter.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Why would you be worried about that?
I think it'll be fine.
Because she really wanted them.
All right, we are going to jump
Paul wouldn't
across.
throw a creature like 6 or 7 challenge ratings higher than us. There's no way he'd do that. Oh, wait.
I did, didn't I? I totally did. But I gave you 8 people to fight him with, so.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
All right. Not the first time. Okay. We jump over to the glass house of Shantea. Magram, you see this beautiful building. It is stone, but there are so many windows. You can see that the roof, you can see that the sun is shining down through the roof. It's one of those rare cloudless days here in Kladvina. Normally it is rainy and wet and just kind of, even when it's not raining, it's just foggy or it's overcast. The air is just always very, very, very wet. And as you move here into the glass house of Shantea, you can see once again, there are these different like plots here inside of this temple. You can see that there is this garden plot with like sunflowers. There's another one with like trees. There's some shrubs and some pumpkins and things. You even see that there is one of these plots that looks like it has these glowing mushrooms and these weird kind of I called them palm trees because the leaves look like palms. It's an underdark palm tree.
We use those as thatch.
Yes, that's canon now. That's canon. That's canon because I said it last time we were here. All right, Magam, you are in here in the glass house of Shantea, and you see Harvest Mistress Lilfay. We're going to jump in as you are already speaking with her. She is this halfling woman, older, probably in her 60s. She's got white hair. She is wearing the robes of the Harvest Mistress of this temple, and she asks, she says, Magam, it's so good to see you up and about. I had a feeling when that spell, when I finished that, I had a feeling that your soul would come back. And I'm glad that it did.
I am deeply indebted to you. What felt like likely perhaps a day or two for you felt like a lifetime of being in the void and wandering from one plane to the next, but I am grateful for your faith and persistence in helping to bring me back to this world. There is still much that we have to do, and I am very appreciative of the efforts you have put forth.
She says, well, before I forget, there is another, his name is Professor Grimskank, and he runs the Prolian Archive here in the city. If you have time...
I forgot about that guy's awesome name.
He's the goblin head archivist, yes. She says,
we know who Grimskank is.
She says, if you have time, I'm sure he would love to document your story as you traveled through the plains.
Yes, I can help him with that and tell him of the event. But I had a request that I wanted to make, and I was hoping perhaps that you might be able to assist me.
Okay, yes, what is it?
The druids that fell in combat just the other day, one of them was a dear friend of ours and a companion, Danon. I believe we've brought her body here for the time being.
Yes, she's actually down. She's down in the same room where you were convalescing after your spell.
As I understand it, there is not much that can be done for her at this point to bring her back. Is that correct?
She looks sad and she shakes her head, no.
I understand. And this is the way of things. Sometimes it is just not meant to... It is not meant to change. But I wanted to do something to commemorate her sacrifice as well as the sacrifice of the other druids. I was hoping to commission a memorial grove of sorts in the marketplace where they fell. To some stonework, perhaps a few trees, flowers, things of that nature. And I will be gone, but I was wondering if someone within your organization may be able to take on that challenge. I can provide them with some gold towards paying for this.
She thinks about it for a second. She says, yes, I think that sounds like a grand idea.
I'm not sure how much this may cost to make happen. Do you think 500 gold is enough to cover the cost of this?
Yeah, she kind of shakes it. She says, with 500 gold, we can make a grand memorial.
Then perhaps that is what we do. And Markham will give her 500 gold towards doing that.
Okay. You share a little bit more information with her, like the name Danon, and a little bit more about her, and then
and her goat.
Yes. What was her goat's
Was it
name
Butterscotch?
Again? Butterscotch. Yes. She says, I'm sure that there will be many memorials erected here in the city in the next few months and years about what happened last night. And I'm glad that you've come to me, that the druids who helped will not be forgotten. They don't often come to the city. They tended to stay out in the bogs and out away from civilization, and they would be easy to have been overlooked. So, Magram, I'm glad that you came to me.
One of the things that transpired during my time, well, between this planar existence, between my lives, if you will, my lives.
Guys, remember Borat?
I met with a deity, Ilmater, and, well, I just feel it in my heart that they will be welcomed as heroes in the beyond for their sacrifice for those around them.
She says, "Oh, wow, you spoke." She looks a little taken aback, and she's like, "Yeah, if you have time, I would love to hear your story as well."
Oh, well, perhaps I have a bit of time before I rendezvous with my companions.
Okay, yes. Let me. She's like, "Let me get."
I was going to say we can kind of fade to black
over
that.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't fade to black, but we can skip past
Well,
it. It's like,
I mean, but we
Harvest
could.
Mistress
Oh,
Lillian.
yeah.
Let's fade to black as you tell me your tale.
And with Grimskank in the room too, but not involved.
No, I mean, just...
I will say this: so much happened to you, Magram, in those lifetimes, in that lifetime between the spell, between dying and being resurrected, that you barely scratch the surface. And as you leave, and as you all leave and go to meet up at the Lady Hawk, they ask you to please, when you're back in Kladvina, please return so you can finish the tale. Grimskank took copious amounts of notes. But you all meet up in Dockside. Yeah.
Really quick, can I just do two more quick things? We can just really briefly go through them. There's just two things I really want to do.
As you're walking to Dockside to go to the Lady Hawk, does anybody else do any random little quick things?
So Guy is going to, as he's leaving the hotel, he's actually going to tear a page from his grimoire, and he'll use that to write a letter specifically addressed to Swordmaster Gelmar. And he's going to use the spell Torn Grimoire Page, which is illusory script. And to anybody reading it, it's basically thank you for helping to keep the peace during the time of trouble. It was great meeting you at the Feast of Sweets Feast. But specifically to Gelmar, it's going to basically spell out there is an attack imminent from the elves. Make ready the defenses.
Jesus, just
now
from the elves?
Those dirty knife ears.
From Elfland up north.
Eldorlis.
Eldorlis, yes. Eldorlis is planning an attack. Don't give too many details on who it is, but basically just say, be ready. They're going to try to take advantage of the situation that Kladvina is in. And then I'm going to leave it at the concierge desk to be delivered to Swordmaster Gelmar on my way out.
Easy enough. Perfect.
Okay. And then the second thing I want to do, I want to see if on my way I can purchase a small lead-lined case big enough to fit my book.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's not a problem either. Yeah, you find there is a chest maker. I know a barrel maker is a cooper, but what's somebody who makes like chests? A furniture maker.
A booper.
A plastic surgeon.
That took me way too long.
Jeez.
I think it's an Arkwright,
An Arkwright?
something like that. I could be wrong, but
All right, well, you find that guy who makes chests and things, and you're able to quickly find some. Yeah, there is a lead-lined small box that will fit. It's going to cost you 20 gold.
Perfect. I will pay that price, and then as soon as I'm out of sight of people, I will put my book in it.
Okay.
And I think that's how I'm going to travel from now on until I need it.
All right. You put your book in it. It has a lock on it and everything. How much did I say it was going to cost? 20 gold?
20 gold, yeah.
Okay, if you want to upgrade the lock, because right now the 20 gold gets you the lead line box and a difficulty 15 lock. If you want to upgrade the lock, you can buy a different lock.
Yeah, I'll buy a different lock. So if I can spend another 20 gold, so 40 gold total, I just want to keep it safe or something like that. Is that pretty good? Or
Yeah, I'd say you can up the difficulty to 20 or 21. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I'll do.
We'll say 21 difficulty.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Okay, anybody else want to do anything as you're walking the streets? No? As you are walking towards Dockside, towards the Lady Hawk, you do see, like, cleanup is happening. You see people are, they are worn out. They are, they seem a little depressed. You see that there are soldiers moving around, both the city's soldiers and as well as the Ram's Head Guild soldiers, the ones who wear pink and black, who are from further south in the Cyric barony. This guild of mercenaries. You see them out, and they are still wearing their armor, wearing their colors, but they have set down their weapons as they are now helping to, remove dead bodies. The bodies of the undead that have cluttered up the streets, as well as you see acolytes and priests from all different churches are out helping to give rest and take care of all of the dead of Kladvina's citizens. As you make your way to Dockside and you see a keelboat, you see Lady Hawk. You also see aboard already is Stormhoof the Thundermare and Cinnamon. Actually, I don't know. Did you guys want to bring the horses or not? The stable is right there.
Oh, I'm bringing Sadie. Don't worry.
No, you are all weak for bringing horses. These horses are stupid.
Also, Duchess is beautiful. Duchess, I'm going to braid your hair.
I'm not sure if you can see, but mine's not a horse, Margrim.
Yeah, Margrim's all, your horse is the stupidest of all, Ornan. It's not even a horse.
Look at that stupid horse with his tongue out.
Yes, your horse is lousy. It is lousy at being horse.
As you guys go to the stables, the stable master's like, you would not believe it. It was amazing. Some zombies broke in. They were trying to kill me. And this horse, and he points to Stormhoof the Thundermare, saved my life. This is the greatest horse ever.
We need to play a session as our animals during this night.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, man.
That would be great. All right, you gather up your horses, I'm guessing, or yes, I guess, yeah, you bring all your animals. Do you bring Annalise's horse?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we
she's
should.
got to be able to come back with us.
Okay. All right, you load up all of your animals aboard the Lady Hawk, and you shove off. You start pulling your way down the river. You are going to get to Grimwater Grove just about nightfall. When you guys are going down the river, if you want to do anything on the ship, then let me know. Otherwise, we can fast forward a little bit. You guys go down the river towards Grimwater Grove. As you guys leave Kladvina, you kind of start leaving the mountainous kind of areas. The mountains are still to the north of you. You're moving down the river, and not very far outside of Kladvina, you get into these waterways that are much more transitory. You start to follow the white waystones that you had to follow on your way up here, and it is much more dense and crowded feeling along the river. Not like, in the city obviously was crowded, but that was urban. This is, as you're going down these narrow waterways, the trees are right along the bank, hanging over the boat in many cases, as moss and vines hang down over the river. You are paddling, or you're pulling your way through.
Is this more so than on our way up the river?
No, this is the same. I'm just giving better descriptions than I gave on the last time. As you are pulling your way down the river, you keep looking for the waystones to follow, as many branches will go off to the left and to the right. There are small pools and ponds everywhere. You go past a few huts of people right along the river who are fishing and that kind of thing. And you arrive at Grimwater Grove just as night is starting to fall. As you approach from the north, you can see that Grimwater Grove it's a city that's built on a natural island. There is a thick stone wall all the way around this island. You can see that it's not totally an island. There are some marshy and swampy areas that you can walk across, but usually those actually have like a wooden boardwalk that are outside of the city walls. But inside the city, you can see that there are many houses and buildings, a couple of churches. But in the north part of the city, there is this large hill that rises up above the city, and there is a massive like cathedral or church up on top of that hill. It dominates the skyline as you approach Grimwater Grove. And you guys are going to stop here for the night, or did you guys want to camp out on your boat in the swamp?
I mean, we should maybe go into town, see what's up.
I mean, yeah, I got so used to a nice bed. It's almost like maybe I should sleep with the boat and the horses just so I get kind of reacclimated to normal life.
Yeah, I'm all right on the boat too.
Honestly, I guess the faster we get there, the better. Might as well just stay on the boat.
No distractions. If we go in there, there's going to be some people who need our help, or we're going to bump into some kind of conspiracy and ancient relics, and, it's just...
Dragons.
That Mogram's going to use all his spell slots healing.
You guys, as you're kind of approaching the city, you do see that there are some people out on boats as well who are, going past you. And one of them calls out, saying, "Hey, we hear there was trouble up north. What's the word on Kladvina?" So there are already rumors of everything that happened with the Necro Purge.
The B-side did in one night what the entire Inquisition couldn't do with their necropurges in decades.
They're incredible.
Long live the B-side. Long live Kladvina.
Like, yay, the B-side. I have no idea what that means. All right, you guys are going to then camp you're going to stay on the ship. So we are going to still not use this map of Grimwater Grove. Yay! All right, nighttime falls. The sounds of the swamp and the marsh, you hear the call of birds. You hear the wind moving through the trees. You hear the slap and gurgle of water as it hits the side of the boat. There is that gentle rocking that you had actually you were used to it for a while, and now you're starting to get used to it again as you're here on the ship. Is there anything anybody wants to do this first night on your ship? Morning comes.
So, Ornan.
Yes?
Luix, huh?
So, Guy. Luix. Yes, that was unexpected. It was quite enjoyable, I must say. It had been quite some time for me.
I'm not asking you to kiss and tell, but, I mean, do you feel like you're...
Did she really turn you down on coming with us? That's kind of embarrassing.
Oh. Wait, how did you know?
I could see it in your eyes.
Baldric's like, wait, we're just letting anybody come along now? I thought I was special.
No, it was perhaps I offered without consulting the group. I'm sorry, but she did turn me down, which is fine. I've never had a fling like that, and so I guess I just maybe saw some more in it than there was. And that's all right, I guess.
No, it's great. It's great. Let your imagination run wild for a little bit. Do you feel like you're back in the game? Do I have some competition now?
I don't know what game you're talking about. That's not typically how I behave.
Well, it's not typically how you behaved in the past, but just don't count it out in the future.
I won't turn it down if something comes, if that's what you're asking. But no, I'm far more interested in something long term than what Liwix was.
Fair enough. Okay. So you're saying is we run into them again, I can ask her out.
Oh, I mean,
Jesus Christ, you can't ask that.
that isn't to say I'm disinterested, Guy.
No, I know. I'm busting your balls, man. I'm just trying to feel out your actual feelings, because I know you're very...
Oh, they've been busted. Don't worry.
I know you...
You notice that Orden has not ridden Sadie, but he still is walking like he was riding the saddle all day.
Jeez. And I'm just messing with you, man. You are very candid with your feelings. I just wanted to see if you really knew how you felt about what happened. So you told me enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel yet. I should like to get to know her better, but I don't know that we'll cross paths again.
Sometimes that's part of the fun. Mm-hmm. Sylvie says not knowingly because she's never had a crush before until now. But
if she looks over to Guy for like reassurance, he's nodding his head vigorously.
And Sylvie, you and Baldric, eh? Baldric, cover your ears.
Did you see those?
I'm right here, dude.
Did you see those wings? Who could turn that down?
Oh, they were quite impressive.
Anyway, everybody, get some rest. Who knows what we're going to run into tomorrow? And be ready. Baldric, be ready with your counter spells and
buff arms. Giant pecs.
Orden is going to snuggle Sadie when he sleeps tonight.
Oh, sweet.
And Guy sleeps in the captain's bed.
You guys all go to sleep, wake up in the morning to an overcast, drizzly day. It is very, very cold out. It's not icy, but you imagine it's probably going to be in like the low 40s today, with kind of overcast and rain, the kind of day where you just never quite warm up because the sun never shows itself. You continue.
As Guy wakes up, he'll come out of the cabin. It's like, did you all have that dream too?
Right. I should hope not. Mine was quite intense.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just wondering if anybody had any visions. I didn't have one either. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the dream where you were hanging out with the frog with sunglasses and pink nipples.
Oh, yes. No, but I'm kind of disappointed. Is anybody else disappointed we haven't had any kind of follow-up on the dream team since the events in Kladvina?
I mean, I can honestly say I'm enjoying my snoozes.
Baldric says, it's only been like 2 or 3 nights since we've had a dream. This seems like they're coming more often. I'm not surprised that we didn't have one last night, though.
I know, but everything was just so epic and anyway, I'll have to be patient. I'm patient. I'm being patient. This is me being patient.
I don't know why you're patiently waiting for it. I dread those dreams.
Oh, I don't want to see more from James. I want to know if what we did with Bubbles is going to stick. I don't want to fight that guy again.
I mean, it is a valid concern, but I feel like certainly there can be only so many kind of bodies he can have created. So
Baldric speaks up and says, I got the very distinct impression that clone jar that he had in the Prosperous Path Guildhouse was his last clone jar. So I don't see any way that he comes back, at least with anything that he's already prepared. But I agree, Guy. I'm looking forward to seeing where he is at now that he has lost his power. You guys continue to paddle and pull yourself down along these rivers, following the white stone guide markers. Guy, you are captaining this ship. You are looking for this hag house, the Swamp Sisters house. Last time you found the Swamp Sisters, as you recall, you were kind of magically tricked into finding it. You lost track of where these stone markers were, but then you remember finding the stone marker after you finished talking to the Swamp Sisters. And I imagine that's the stone marker that you are looking for again. You come around a bend and you see what you are so certain that was that stone marker that was lost until the Swamp Sisters allowed you to see it. You see that marker again. And as you kind of stop the Lady Hawk, you look around and see if you can spot the Swamp Sisters' house. I need everyone to make investigation or perception checks.
Markham got a 17. Perception.
Ornan got a 19. Perception.
Come on. Ooh, Guy got a 21.
Sylvie got a 22 investigation.
Oh, Paul, 17
you know-
and up. Come on.
You guys, as you're looking around, you're like, this, you are all very certain that this is that same rock. And you look through the trees, you try to catch a glimpse of a lantern or something. Last time you remember seeing a lantern, but then you also remember that when you left, that the lights went out instantly. All of you, as you're looking, you all spot through the trees a little bit further east off of the river, you see kind of the edge of something, looks like a house of some kind. As you tie up and dismount or disembark from the ship, you start moving through the marshy ground towards this structure, and you see, this does look like the Swamp Sisters' house, except maybe if it had aged 30 or 40 years since last time you were here.
Classic
You see the deck
Swamp
out
Sisters.
I know.
You see the deck out front is sagging. The wood is rotten in places. You can see that the door to go in is hanging by one hinge. You see that the glasses are cloudy and covered in grime. They are very gringy. As you approach this building, you realize this is the Swamp Sisters' hut. But things have changed since last time you were here. And we are going to investigate further next time when we get back together.
Woo. Okay.
All right, you guys.
I have a spell for this, guys.
Oh, very good. Hey guys, thanks for
This was
playing.
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
Good to be back, y'all.
You guys, I missed you so much. And listeners, we miss you as well. We're excited to get back more on a weekly rotation like we have done for 3 years. Thanks for sticking with us as we took some time off for family and for holidays. And now that we are into 2025, we look forward to putting out more and more content for you. Don't forget, go check out our shop, and you too can get a shirt that talks about pink eye.
Who doesn't want that?
Prove Paul wrong. Prove Paul wrong.
Also, don't forget we have our wiki, and we also have Your Neighbor's Potatoes if you want to become a patron. And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.